So let's just, let me just, okay, this is a little bit crazy. I'm trying to go live off both Facebook and YouTube. So I'm trying to go live off both Facebook and YouTube. Let me just mute my phone. How's everyone doing? No, I don't want any of that. So you guys, I was like, I'm gonna talk soul journeys today, and we're gonna talk about something kind of weird. Well, it's not super weird, but it's weird for me to talk about it. It's weird for me to even talk about this. I was thinking we could talk about Archangel Michael. So for those of you who are watching me on Facebook, you probably already have some idea about the insanity of my existence. We do the whole Archangel Michael thing up in here. And, you know, I don't know, it's, I guess, like a cool thing right now. Everybody want to be Michael's friend. I don't even call him Michael. I call him Mikey. He's just my homie. You know, he's been my friend for quite some time. He's been a part of my life for a very, very long time. Pretty much my whole life. That's a long time. The whole life. So do you guys know who Archangel Michael is? And for folks on Facebook, if you really want your comments readily seen by me, it would be good if you go to my channel. Let me get the link. Hold on. Okay, this is the YouTube link for the live. Facebook keeps pausing the comments on Facebook, so you can watch me on YouTube live and I'll see your comment right away. I love YouTube. At this point, I think I prefer YouTube simply for the comment factor. All right, so yes, Archangel Michael is supposed to be the angel of protection. He's one of, I think it was like 7 archangels. He comes from the first ray of creation. So when God first began forming thoughts, it said that one of God's first thoughts was the blue ray. And the blue ray is the ray from which Michael comes from. Okay, so he is like in charge of the blue ray. Now there are extraterrestrial species that are called blue ray. When I reference blue ray, I'm referencing Archangel Michael's family. This is his, you know, in human terms, this is Archangel Michael's bloodline. Okay, and I use that loosely, bloodline. Angels don't really have blood. Well, etheric blood, but not like human blood. But anyways, so that's where I come from. That's where my soul comes from, Archangel Michael's lineage. And with that, we're typically housed in the throat until we balance our soul mission in this life, because each of us came into this life for a very specific purpose. Michael's lineage is like the highest level of servant. I'm just saying, you know, humanity has totally turned Michael into something else. He is a servant, okay? He is a servant. That's what he does. This is what he loves to do. He loves to serve the will of the one consciousness, all right? A lot of people are like, all right, Michael's talking to me. I'm channeling messages from Michael. Michael said to do this. Michael said to do that. Michael said you're evil. Michael. If you're a servant, if you bow down with no resistance to the will of the one consciousness, if you are subservient to the will of God's source, then you recognize within each part of creation, meaning every single human being that has ever lived, is living, ever will live, every bird, animal, flower, tree, everything exists a spark from God. Now, if Michael is the utmost servant of God, the right hand of God, doing whatever God asks of Michael to do with no hesitation, would Michael ever tell God what to do? I don't think so. I don't think so. I really, really don't think so. And people can get all upset if they want. They can be all like, Michael didn't tell me to, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm just like, why the hell would he tell you to blah, blah, blah? Michael don't tell you to do this or that. Michael's been a part of my journey for a very long time. A very, very, very long time. He never tells me what to do. At the most, Michael will ask me, are you sure you want to do that? Is that the highest level of consciousness that you are using to decide, to discern? Because Michael recognizes there is a spark of God within each of us, and would never, ever, ever disrespect that divine consciousness that resides within each of us. So Michael is here to assist. It's just something that he does. No, you're whack, hun. You're whack. You're whack. And let me see. You say you got the key to the universe, and now you're talking about Jesus. And you realize that it is, I'm not even going to acknowledge your screen name. You realize that it's a sign of your mental instability, first of all, and then your limited understanding, second of all, and your childishness to try and dominate someone else's thoughts. That's not godly. That's not angelic. That's quite the opposite of what Archangel Michael is doing. So yeah, you say God is in control. There is a piece of me that is of God. So I am in control of this space right here. I am in control of this space right here. You are small-minded. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, guys. So as I was saying, basically what ends up happening is Michael is here to assist. There are quite a few that are now actively mimicking Michael. So let's see. 1 second, guys. My internet is running a little bit slow. Just had to take out the trash. Just had to take out the trash. That's me recognizing the sovereign within me is a reflection, a lower convoluted reflection of God, but still a reflection of God. And the space that I maintain is for me to decide who gets to occupy that space with me. Just as you are a sovereign and you get to decide who gets to occupy your space with you. And whoever you pay attention to, that's who you're paying your energy to. So that individual was removed. Because what you're trying to contribute, it's not a contribution. You're attempting to dominate this space that's not yours to begin with. I'm sharing my space. I'm sharing my thoughts. You don't get to dictate to me how this is gonna go. You don't get to try and upset me. I'm not even upset. The only reason I'm acknowledging you is because the most compassionate thing that I could do for you as my sister in this light is correct you. You have no authority before me. None. None. You don't get to try and dominate me, just like I'm not going to dominate you. So you can do your own live, go on your own channel, on your own live, and preach to everyone. I can go ahead and share my thoughts, and you guys are absolutely free to either take in what I say or close it off. And I'm okay with whatever you decide. Truly, I'm okay with whatever you decide, but you don't get to come here and attempt to dominate me, because bitch, that's not how it works, okay? I come from the Blu-ray line. Michael would not take that kind of disrespect, because right now you're attempting to disrespect that spark of God within me. And that's how you get Michael all flared up. That's how you get him all flared up. But you're not even gonna do that with me. You know why? Because of the fact that I acknowledge my concern is not whether you're worthy of me. My concern is whether I am worthy of more than what you are offering. And this is one of the lessons that Michael kind of is sharing with people, helping people to understand and grasp at this point in our spiritual evolution, because we're all evolving together. You know, this whole like, my way is right, your way is wrong, and you know what that person was trying to do. It's just no. We can agree to disagree, and it's perfectly okay. There is no right, there is no wrong, there just is. We're all at the base of a huge mountain, standing in different degrees in relation to the apex of this mountain. And if you ask someone that's standing on the west what they view, it will be a stark contrast to what the person on the east is viewing. Yet neither are wrong, because they're both describing the apex of this mountain from their vantage point. And someone who's climbed higher up on that mountain, it doesn't make them any superior. It just gives them a higher vantage point. So they can explain to those who are still near the base, no, you have a little bit more ways to climb up. There's things obstructing your view. There's no need for judgment. And that's what Michael's trying to help us learn right now. He's trying his best to really honor our sovereign space, not dictate to us. And honestly, I really question, you know, the people who are channeling messages from Michael. It's such a hip thing to do right now. And if you know, based out of ego, you want to be part of the cool crowd, and you know, you want to channel this too, you want to channel that too, you want to build an audience and have like the pimpest angel messages, you're at risk. You're at risk, because hey, demons can mimic, you know, demonic beings have an elevated ability of mimicry. You want to come on my channel, you want to come on my page, start quoting scripture. Demons can quote scripture too. That's the problem. Demons can quote scripture too. Demons can absolutely tell you, if you ask them, you know, are you an angel? Yes. That's a half truth, but still a truth. Yes. I was an angel that fell, and now I'm a dark angel. You see how that works? So, you know, it's just one of these things where Michael is just, we're giving him too much authority, power over our journeys. And that's not what he ever wanted to do. That's not his function. His function was never to dictate to any of us what to do. His function was never to divide. You know, like one time I got accused, a now former friend accused me of like, oh, you use Michael as an excuse to cut people out. Michael never told me to cut people out. I never said Michael told me to cut people out. What I said was that Michael gave me clarity, like, you know, your intuition is already telling you that situation is gonna be fucked. That is not a friend. And I was like, no, 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 Michael, no. I was wrong on that. I'm accurate for everyone else, but for that one thing that pertains specifically to me, my personal journey, that's the one time that I was wrong. And then he's like, are you sure? And I'm like, I'm sure. I learned from the last time. I'm sure. Okay. That's the most that he says. Okay. And yeah. Fast forward. Shit. I was so freaking accurate. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. But I mean, you know, that was my choice. That was my choice. And are we going to say, like, you know, Archangel Michael did that? He didn't protect me. He didn't guide me. He's protecting you from yourself now. Is that how it works now? Michael got to protect you from yourself? I don't think so. I don't think so. Ooh, okay. Kay on my Emmie Evolving page on Facebook says, love is the answer. Great that you were on with Michael tonight. Does he have anything he wants us to know? You found the demon that was trying to mimic Archangel Michael on me. Since the Blu-ray armor can now tell the difference. That's awesome. That is awesome. It's just all you need to do is begin allowing yourself to discern, and beautiful, beautiful, very empowering things happen for you. Not because of me, not because of Michael, but because you're now aware. And that's all Michael really wants to do, is make, help us, assist us in becoming more aware, waking up, understanding that we are God with amnesia. We are fractals of God. Is any one person God? No. Are you kidding me? How could one vessel ever contain a limitless thing? How could we ever even really truly label what God is? I mean, it's Michael alone. It's hard to label what Michael is. Like, to me, my concept, my very limited human concept of what God is the everything, the nothing, and the spaces in between. You ask me, what is God? Who is God? The everything and the nothing and the spaces in between. Now, we are neither everything nor nothing. We are the spaces that are occupied in between. And if God, by my definition, is the everything and the nothing and the spaces in between, does that not mean we are all fractionated pieces of God? Does it? So Michael, he does have a mimic. There is something that mimics Michael. It is a not so good being. It's a demonic being. It's a demonic being, and, you know, or do we need to be scared? No. No, we don't have to be scared. No, hon, I don't poop every day. I don't consume enough fiber to go every day. I'm actually regular in my irregularity. And I would think that God could poop if God so chose. I mean, you were created, weren't you? I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure God poops. I mean, you exist. Yeah. I think your concept of God is very, very limited. For you to consider God as a he, that tells me you subscribe to the false tyranny, false king of tyranny mindset, which is a patriarchal Melchizedek mindset. You are supporting the very paradigm that was created to enslave humanity. That's the paradigm that Michael and his family line, his lineage, was tasked to control, keep in order. cosmos. From chaos came order. From chaos came cosmos. So, Christopher, you know, I'm just saying, we can roll with the punches. I come from his lineage. We can roll with the punches, But I mean, do you guys have any questions about Michael's lineage? I'm sorry, guys. I'm live both on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. And someone's trying to be cute. Someone's trying to be cute. So I was trying to be cute too. Yeah, I was trying to be cute. Oh my gosh. So, right, Hilda? I'm just saying. I was just saying. Yeah, no, like confrontation doesn't intimidate me. Sense of humor doesn't intimidate me. Ooh, Leon Nesbitt. Yes, yes, yes. He says, hey, Emmie, I made a realization today that many people are and have been deceived by archangel imposters. Yeah. Yeah. I came to that realization a time back because there was a circumstance where an individual just kept purchasing and purchasing like obscene amounts of items created by me. And it was always like what they were purchasing was always like the most powerful items, you know, like because I make patented selenite swords. And what ended up happening was, hold on real quick. What ended up happening was it suddenly became confrontational because they became very possessive of me. And I was just like, what the hell is this? And what ended up happening with that, they like blurted out to me that Michael had been telling them to purchase all these swords, and my swords are not cheap. I'm full aware that the cost of items that I make, people have a tendency to pay quite a bit for it. And they blurted out that Michael's been telling them to purchase swords, and I'm like, stop bidding, stop bidding. Like there's been some auctions that I had live, and I was just like, stop, just stop. And then they came to me and was like, I don't even have $5, and my husband could go buy a sandwich for work. And I'm like, why are you fucking bidding on shit you can't afford? Why would an archangel tell you to become destitute? Like, think on that shit. You believe that an archangel is telling you to spend more than you can afford. And that's the same archangel that told you that I'm a demon and you need to destroy me. That shit makes no sense. I was just like, I'm sorry, run this by me again? First off, archangels don't deal with money. Like, what are you even talking about? Why would an archangel tell you to go broke? And have I not told you already? Like, the fuck are you doing? Stop bidding on shit you can't afford. Like, stop. If it's really that serious, privately message me. We will do a custom sword for you. Like, you don't have to go on an auction and bid like $600-700 if you don't have $600-700 extra laying around. And it was just like lost on them. Like, but Archangel Michael told me to. Boo, you've been lied to. That shit is not Michael. Michael don't do that. I'm sorry, guys. Michael does not do that. He doesn't tell you what to do. I'm telling y'all, you know, what happens when I'm needing guidance, the most that Archangel Michael will do is ask me, are you sure that's what you should do? Have you asked your highest self. Archangels, the ones of light, angels that come from light, they're not attempting to dominate. They're here to assist. They're here to assist. You know, they're here to assist. They're not here to dominate your thoughts. They're not here to tell you what to do. And there is such a huge, huge thing of archangels allegedly telling people what they're supposed to be doing. Michael helps your higher self to communicate things to you, but would never actually tell you what to do. I mean, they just don't. They just don't. That's not like Gabriel came with a message to Mary that she's pregnant, allegedly. Let me have my moment. I had to, okay, see, and right now he's talking to me. He goes, did you have to add the word allegedly? I'm sorry. I did. I had to add the word allegedly, okay? I had to. That's within the realm of my reality. I feel it was allegedly done. And so what's going on is that we're recognizing they're messengers, they're helpers. They're not running this show at all. In any way, shape, or form, angels are not running this show. And Kendra says Michael strongly insists or suggests. Yeah. For me, if I don't go and do, you know, what I'm supposed to be doing, there's a pretty hefty like consequence. And that consequence is decided upon by my higher self. Michael is not just randomly like, punish her. Like, get the hell out of here. Get out of here, Michael. You know, and when he knows that my higher self is about to like, Michael, we gotta make her comply. This is not what we planned for ourselves in this life. Michael, come on, we gotta make this girl comply with what we decided. Meaning me, myself, my soul, and I. Not Michael. And Michael's like, he says to me, are you ready? Anytime Michael asks me if I'm ready, oh shit. This is gonna hurt. Oh my God, this is gonna hurt. Let me just agree. Let me just agree. Give me a second. Give me a second. I'm gonna agree to doing what my higher self has been trying to encourage me to do for some time. I just needed a little bit of time to agree. So, and I gotta make sure that I exist within the thought forms of what my higher self, no one else, what my higher self brought me into this physical realm to experience, you know? And Michael is just, he absolutely is trying to respect, honor your sovereignty. I mean, you know, I come from Michael's lineage. If you're familiar with the energetic work that I do, you know I don't violate people's sovereignty. Whether I can enter your field or not without permission, I will always ask permission first. The only time that I would ever, you know, just do it is if it's a grave danger type of issue. And then I always come to the person and like, hey, this is what happened. I feel horribly that I had to do this, that I had to defend you without first giving you the option of allowing or refusing my defense of you. But that's what happened. And even then, it's just the conscious mind. I've received permission from the higher self because I come from his lineage. And this is what he does. He honors the sovereignty on every level. the sovereignty is honored, okay? So even if I get the higher self's permission, to me, that's still like, I feel like I just, you know, that was questionable because I didn't ask the conscious mind. And honestly, I mean, you don't even really need the conscious mind's permission as long as the higher self has given permission. But still, coming from Michael's lineage, integrity, honoring sovereignty, respecting boundaries is huge, huge. It's just so huge. And if you can't grasp fully exactly what I'm saying, and that you feel that, you know, Michael has to be this concept of just goes and does it, like the wrath of God, like not unless he's asked to by God. Do you get what I'm saying? Not unless he's asked to by God. And when he's asked to do this by God, then that means a fractal of God that exists within you has given Michael permission to do this. So still, that's still not a violation of your sovereignty. So, whew, Archangel Michael is a doozy. He's a doozy. Sometimes I'm just like, Michael, just be quiet. Just be quiet with your questions within a question. So I'm like, Michael, what do you think of this? Well, what do you think I should think of it? Shut the hell up. Are you kidding me right now? Why would I be kidding you? Okay. That's why I don't talk to you. Because it's a question within a question. I ask you a question, you answer me with a question. It's like I'm talking to myself. I'm just saying. It's like I'm talking to myself. I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to do, but you're not telling me. And then at that point, when I start getting into that realm of like, you're not telling me, he gets real quiet. And I recognize to Michael that that's a very touchy, very touchy ground, you know, very touchy, because again, would Michael ever tell God what to do? Is that something you guys could see Michael attempting? Telling God what to do? Within each of us exists a spark of God. It's a spark of God. What do you think powers your body? Why do you think the body can no longer operate once the soul is removed? There's no more power pack. The machine stops functioning. As Caprina says, no way. I'm going to have to agree with you, girl. I'm going to have to agree with you. Ooh, Leon says, it amazes myself how so many hear instructions. Maybe I don't clarify enough. I don't know. But like when I give the messages that contain instruction, that's not from an archangel. That's from your higher self. Your higher self is asking this of you, is asking for your compliance. So that way you can travel in this life with as minimal struggle and suffering as possible. Struggling, suffering, those are optional. Pain, not so optional. Pain teaches you things. The greater the pain, the greater the lesson, the more likely you will retain that information for longer periods. So if I tap on a curling iron as it's heating up, no biggie. I'll probably keep tapping on that. Just tap it. Oh, it didn't really burn me. I just tap it. It's no biggie. If I burn half my hand on a stove and I need to go through a year of rehab to be able to make a fist again, and I never ever really regain function off those fingers, you best believe I'll remember that shit for the rest of my life. Like, I probably shouldn't touch the stove. Probably never. So pain is not an option. It's definitely a part of your path, a part of your journey. And one of the things that one of the things that he's like encouraging me, he's like, he's not even talking. Like, keep going, share your thoughts. So, why did we ever become afraid of pain? Like, as a species, you know, as a species, we're so afraid to feel. We're so afraid to hurt. You have, and this is not a judgment, this is an observation. You have mothers giving birth nowadays, afraid, absolutely terrified to feel the feelings, the sacred pain of birth. Like, what's happened to us as a society that we would forego experiencing that exquisite pain of bringing life into this world? And it's just a question, like, if that's something you don't want to experience, I get that. If it scares you, I get that. I've given birth to 4 children, completely unmedicated, and it hurt. It hurt. I felt afraid. At a certain point, I was like, I can't do this. Oh my God, I'm probably gonna die. The baby's gonna die with me. We're all gonna die. That's usually when the head's engaged. That's usually when the ring of fire begins. And it's at that point, had I been medicated and I just felt the pain of the pressure of that head engaging, life about to force its way through and make a claim on this plane, I would have missed the cue from my physical body to bear down, because we were never meant to just lay there. If you ever experience labor without any medications, you'll know after a certain point, and I'll tell you, for me, and this was true for all of my children, once the head was engaged, because I had labored for some time, I was exhausted. And it was in that moment where the head engaged, like ready to go through the canal, I felt so exhausted, so afraid, and so defeated. And it was at that moment I wanted to give up. For every single one of my births, it was at that moment I wanted to give up. And as soon as I gave up, I felt that pain engage full force. And I was like, fuck that, I'm pushing back. And one of my births, I totally, wow. I did not even realize this. It was my last birth, my youngest. Michael was there. I mean, he's there for all the births, but he was there. He egged me on. The doctor had threatened to put me on Pitocin, and I had refused Pitocin. I said, no, I'm not doing Pitocin. Every time Pitocin is used on me, I almost died, like literally. I literally almost died. And so I'm refusing Pitocin. And he was like, well, I'm the doctor. I'm giving you 30 minutes. And if we have no, because my labor had stalled, if we have no progress in 30 minutes, we're putting you on Pitocin. And he slammed the bag of Pitocin on the table beside me, and then he left the room. And I was left with the nurses, and I got real scared. And I remember thinking, fuck that. Don't fucking tell me what to do. You don't tell me how to birth. You don't tell this kid, this sovereign future king of humanity, when the fuck he's gonna come into this world. I was so riled up, like, you don't fucking tell us what to do. And then next thing you know, 10 minutes later, full labor, heads engaged. The nurses are freaked out. They're like, they can't find the doctor. I went from stuck at 4 centimeters to 9 centimeters. 9 centimeters. I was so like pissed off, and the nurses totally were like, no, mommy, no, don't push. We're looking for the doctor. And I got real calm. Like, I don't know if my husband is on Facebook or on YouTube, but he can attest to this. I got real calm in the middle of active labor. I was doing a pep talk with the nurses. No, ladies, you've been trained. Just go in between my legs, catch the baby. We've got this. I trust in you guys. You have got this. We are in control of the situation. Baby is coming. I am going to push now. and so I pushed. And the doctor arrived just in time, son of a bitch. Just in time. But had I not felt that pain, had I not been challenged, had he not attempted to dominate me, I don't know what would have happened. I really don't know what would have happened, but being from Michael's lineage, no, you will not dishonor my sovereignty in that way. I decide what I'm going to do with my body. My child decides when will be his sovereign birthday. No, I'm saying. Right. My husband says he stole my thunder for cutting the cord. I specifically asked and stipulated the cord is not to be clamped or cut until it stops pulsating, because I want every last drop of that stem cell from the placenta to enter my child's vessel. That mother fricker clamped and cut the cord and then asked my husband to cut the cord closer to the child. And when I saw that, he had left the room already, and I saw that, and I looked at my husband, and I was like, you fucking see that? And my husband was like, calm down. Calm down. It's okay. Baby's here. Baby is fine. Baby is here. So he totally calmed me down. But that Michael fire, he never does more than what the sovereign asks of him to do. Never more, never less. Michael always just supports what that divine sovereign is asking for. He totally diffused me, Alina. I was like, hold the baby, I'm gonna fuck shit up. Give me something to throw in this room. My Asian Latina came out of me. I was like, motherfucker, he cut the cord. And like, it's fine. It's fine. It's already done. You can't put the cord back together. Woo, woo. But again, at no point did Michael say, you better get up and you better tell him off. You better show this doctor. I distinctly remember this thought, and I got real calm, and it was just like, is what he said okay with you? And I was like, the fuck did he just say to me? I absolutely remember that moment. Absolute. And I remember that moment so vividly. He scratched his head, the doctor scratched the back of his head because he was so annoyed with me at that point. And then he wrote something in the chart, put his pen back in his pocket, and he goes to the nurse and says, page me in 30. We'll hook her up to Pitocin. I remember that shit. But what did Archangel Michael say? Is what he said okay with you? He didn't say, no, you fight for that baby. No, you stand up, and he didn't give any instruction. He asked me to decide for myself what my thoughts are on that given circumstance, and then determine my response. So you guys, if you have an archangel telling you what to do, that shit's not an archangel. Not an archangel. Definitely not Michael. That is definitely not Michael. I'm just saying, everyone want to be Michael's homie. Michael is elusive, exclusive. He doesn't talk to everyone. He doesn't talk to everyone. And we're going to have to be okay with that. You know, we're just going to have to be okay with that. Like, I don't talk to Metatron. Metatron doesn't talk to me. That's okay. Maybe I'm not supposed to work with Metatron. I don't talk to Sandalphon either. Like, that's okay. Maybe I don't have work with Sandalphon. We have to stop comparing ourselves, comparing our journey to someone else's journey. Like, oh my God, Emmie can do this. I should be able to do this too. You have the capability, but are you able to do it? If not, that's perfectly fine because you're not Emmie. Just like you're probably able to do things that Emmie can't do. And the fact that I'm talking third person right now makes me question. It makes me question. So let me just, hold on, guys. Do you guys have any questions at all regarding Archangel Michael? Ooh, Angela Bush says maybe I should, hold on, maybe I should start believing in Archangel Michael differently because I react like that and I'm Native American and Irish. I don't know if you'll be able to, find information on this, but Archangel Michael is actually very deeply tied to Native energies, Native Americans, Native First Nation peoples, things like that. Much of his soul family filtered through Native American indigenous peoples. Yes, like tribes and stuff like that. Much of his lineage did that. Much of his lineage also were filtered through feudal Japan. Many served as samurai. Quite a few served as samurai, and that was to really ingrain that Bushido, the code of Bushido. It's, you don't live with dishonor. You have to always live with honor. Like, you don't engage an enemy that can't defend against you. That's not a worthy adversary. So no, it's just no. That's a waste of time. That does not honor you. No. So it's just, there's a few key times in human history where large numbers of the intact Melchizedek line were requested to come into vessel. This is one of those times. We are at a point in our human evolution where it has become necessary. A call was sent out, and a large number of Michael's soul family with the coding still intact. A portion of his family fell. Okay, if we're gonna be real about this, like, we really got to be real about Michael. A portion of Michael's family fell. So they're the fallen Melchizedek, patriarchal Melchizedek. And that's actually the patriarchal Melchizedek. They're the ones that volunteered their coding to be intermixed with Neanderthals. That's how you got Cro-Magnon, modern humans. So we're all part of us is from Michael's lineage. That's why he protects humanity so much. That's why. If you guys want to know why he protects humanity so much, it's almost like God wanted to experience giving birth and had Michael be the one, Michael's lineage, be the one to be a part of that project. I don't know if any of this makes sense. Here's a question. Do you have to be a part of his lineage to work with him or be helped by him? All of us, technicality, we're all a part of his lineage. So she says, I have connected with Michael so much and he's had a strong presence. However, can't really say I assume it's because I'm part of the lineage, which is fine if I am or I'm not. But I wonder, does he extend beyond the lineage? Elena, the way you've questioned, the way you've asked it, that's very indicative that you are. Because Michael's lineage, like, one of the things that I recognize the most, if someone's saying that they're from his lineage and like, I'm a Blu-ray, I'm from his lineage, I can do this, I can do that. Bullshit, you're from the fallen line. Because Michael's lineage, the ones that remained intact, 80% of their coding remained intact, undistorted, they act just like you, Elena. Like, I think I might be, but it's okay if I'm not. And I don't know, I want to help, and I know I'm not anything special, and I know that, I just want to help. That's how they behave. The ones that came from that intact lineage. The 3 branches that remained intact, that's how they behave. Their ego, when flared, makes them shrink instead of inflate. When my ego flares, it's like, no one really wants to hear any of this. I don't want to go live. Like, who's even going to watch? This is stupid. Why would I even tell people this? Which is what I was doing earlier. God, I don't want to go live. Why would I talk about Michael? This is so stupid. Everybody already knows about Michael. They could Google Michael. This is so stupid. And then Michael's like, but is it really? Hella stern, but is it really? Okay, fine. I'll go live about Michael. Shit. But yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. So Kimberly says, you started to talk about Michael and the throat area. Where were you going with that? Oh, okay. Thank you for keeping me on track. So Michael's lineage, if you look at how the chakras are aligned, Michael's lineage occupies the throat. The blue chakra is the throat chakra. We occupy the throat. The term Melchizedek is actually not a name. Melchizedek is the audible tonation. It's what you hear. It's what was heard when God first thought the first form, which showed it was visibly seen as blue and audibly heard as Melchizedek. So with that, people from Michael's lineage, if they haven't balanced, because Michael does have a lot of power, you know, a lot of ability. And Michael has a lot of ability and a lot of power because it makes it more efficient when he's serving the will of God. Not because he's above other angels, but because it makes it more efficient when he serves the will of God. And so when we're not balanced, what ends up happening, that energy is not balanced and it begins to attack the throat, which then usually has an effect on the thyroid. Notice how many people have thyroid disease. Notice how many people have that issue with the thyroid. I have an issue with my thyroid. I don't know if you guys can see how swollen it is because I keep fucking forgetting taking my medicine. I like take it for a week, like religiously, and then I'll miss a day and I'll be like, oh, but I had coffee. It's going to block the medication. I'll take it later. And then it's like nighttime. Ah, fuck it. And then the next day, the same thing happens. And then a week passes and I'm like, my throat hurts. So you wonder why your throat hurts? Yeah, that's why. Let's see. Ooh, April says, my thyroid fixed itself. Hey, you know, I believe that. I believe that. I had a large amount of swelling recently in my thyroid because I kept forgetting taking my medicine. I've been drinking coffee. And like there were a few days where there was a circumstance and I had to really speak my truth and stick to it and just speak my truth in a compassionate but firm manner and not back down from that. And that's what I did. And like my throat felt beautiful, like ridiculously beautiful. And so what ends up happening is you end up healing yourself. And I fully believe that we're capable of self-healing. Every single last one of us is capable of self-healing. So hold on real quick, guys. Okay, so it's too late, boo-boo. I've seen your comment. Hate speech, that's what it is. What you commented was hate speech. And let me go ahead, find you. Perfectly fine. Well done, guys. See, here's the thing. I have a very robust block list on Facebook, and I'm going to go ahead and build a robust block list on YouTube as well. Let me see. Where is your comment? Hold on, guys. Let me see. Where? Well, you got lucky. You got real lucky. I hope you comment again. I really, really hope you comment again so you can join the other trolls in the troll graveyard. There you are. There you go. She couldn't help it, could you? Your ego was just like, say something else. You got her to notice you. Yeah. You got me to block you is what you did. Thank you very much for making that easier for me. There you go. There you go. So Il Pikachu says, Sarah, I'm not trolling. I'm just making a joke. Please don't get triggered. Oh, well, too bad. I don't feel bad. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry. All right, anyways, back to questions. Let's see. Yeah, I'm forming a troll graveyard. Send him to the graveyard. Okay. Oh.
Y'all, I couldn't. Let me give 2018 Emmie a break. 2018 Emmie definitely needed a break 3 minutes sooner than I planned. So I'm going to go ahead and just hide 2018 Emmie, and I'm going to go ahead and answer 2022 questions from all of you. So thank you guys so much, first and foremost, for joining. That was definitely an experience watching me in 2018. I think it was 2018. Yes. I feel like you were witnessing the child, like, the child, and now you're seeing full on Yoda. So I'm just going to go through the comments really quick and see what questions you guys have. This has been really, really interesting watching myself talking. Robust. It was a robust experience. Let's see. I did see quite a few amazing questions in the comments. Where is it? So here, Elijah Thompson, does he have a matriarch? Does Archangel Michael have a matriarch? Everything in creation has a divine counterpart. Everything has, this complement to it that is, I guess you could say, on an opposing positioning of polarity, right? So that's definitely something. Yes, he has a matriarch. It's not talked about a lot, and they work together very cohesively. Let's see. Ooh, Alathane. Explains why I chose to train in samurai akijutsu and kenjutsu. A lot of the Melchizedek line that is here to assist with transformation, to assist with ascension, and all sorts of different things. We have been run through feudal Japan. When I say run through, I'm talking about how many lifetimes we've lived through feudal Japan quite a bit, almost from inception of that feudal Japan period. So there's a lot of history, like a richness in the history of really living your life with the concept of Bushido. So that's very indicative of something. You know. How do we know he is around? By gaze. So gaze, oftentimes when Archangel Michael is around, you just kind of get a feeling that there's something there. But you don't necessarily feel afraid. you typically will just feel very like, am I imagining this? Is he really here? Is he what's going on? For me, when I was a lot younger and I was aware that there was something there, I grew up very religious, and so I had a lot of fear. I was um, very fear based, and so whenever I would feel him, I would get very afraid. And after a certain period, um, he never would really show himself to me. It was just the same energy frequency, the signature that I would recognize. And after I reached a certain level of maturity, he then began to show himself. If you guys want to know, the first time I saw Michael, I can definitely share that. But I mean, if you guys want to know, okay. Um, Hold on, let me try and fix my audio and video. Hi. Can you guys hear and see me better? So let's see. Um there was some other questions. I believe it was from Sky. Hold on. This is an important question, Saunders. But over time our confidence grew to yes, we can. Well, that's it. It's not the lack of faith in self. It's not the lack of belief in self. For me personally, I know what I can do. I have a very good, very clear understanding of what I can do based on where I'm at right now in my journey. And with that, whenever my ego flares, it's more to do with shrinking me back down versus me having a true, very genuine lack of confidence, and me not being able to do what I do because of my lack of belief in myself. It doesn't have to do with belief in self. It has more to do with your perception in that moment. And then it will go back up to this, yes, I can. And when you get there and you're about to go beyond the level of confidence that is conducive for you serving your purpose, living your soul's purpose, usually the ego will flare again. Sometimes it has to do with being triggered. Other times it's just you triggering yourself. Um, but it'll flare and it'll bring you back down to a more proper level of confidence and the actions that are taken due to that level of confidence. And then your next question, does that mean we are from the fallen line? Not necessarily. Now, the lines that fell, they're not destined to remain in a fallen state. So, with that being said, even if you're from a fallen line, it doesn't mean you remain fallen. You still have the sovereign right, that autonomy to be able to choose, like, is this the life you're going to rectify some of the things that you're aware you partook in previous lives? Beings can do that. Like draconians are known to be very malignant, right? They're known to be very violent, very malignant, hurtful, harmful intentionally. There are some draconians, the Sakars, who have transcended that state. They've entered into the 12th dimensional realm of consciousness and awareness, and they're interested in the reunification process. That's the state that we're in right now. We're actively in the process of reunifying as fractals of creation. And the Melchizedek lines that are intact, um, our job is to facilitate the rise and expansion of awareness. And so, it's a very interesting thing. There's no like absolutes when it comes to this type of subject matter. So it's definitely a good thing. Definitely a good thing. Um, Hold on real quick, guys. I just have to let Ocean Lover know. Um, All right. So let's look for more questions. Ocean Lover is going to be coming on screen and asking me a few questions as well. Oh, this question is interesting. Does Archangel Michael like cats? Archangel Michael likes all sentient beings that have an innocence about them. He loves all animals. I believe he did a lot of work, not just with Saint Benedict, but also what's his name? Saint Anthony, Saint Francis of Assisi. I don't know. One of those saints. Let me check. Which saint is for animals? Saint Francis of Assisi. Yeah. Yeah. Oh no. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Ooh, I love this. You can tame the beast, but the savage will always be there as needed. Ooh. Mm-hmm. mm-hmm. Taming the beast does not make it no longer a beast. It's still a beast. When properly triggered, it will surface. Let's see. Ooh, I have very specific feelings about purgatory. So Kathleen says, do you or Michael have feelings about purgatory? I had a very close person in pain. She told me she was suffering for those in purgatory. So, my understanding based on conversations that I've had with Michael over the years, because I was in fact raised as Catholic, um, and Catholics believe in purgatory. Michael said it's all caca. There's no purgatory. Earth is purgatory. I believe that your friend is very sensitive and is suffering for the pain of all those who are living, but not truly living. So that's definitely something, um, you know, I could be right. I could be wrong. We really don't know. We really don't know. We don't know. And I don't want to have it seem as though I'm trying to correct your friend's belief, but that's just my personal belief. What would you like me to tell you, Universal D? You do tell us, my lady. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Let's see. I'm on. Okay. Let's see this. I'm on the verge of starting my own business and I go between I have to do this and no one wants to hear my BS. So this helps. Thank you. Yes, sometimes when you go through those cycles, that's Michael helping you to recalibrate your approach, helping you to recalibrate your perception. Just recently, Michael has absolutely been on my booty because I've totally been like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? Will I really be able to start a church? Will I really be able to construct the sanctuary? Will I be what my board members need me to be? And then he tells me, like, knock it off. He does. He tells me, knock it off. You're already the living church. You're already what your board members need you to be. And that's why they volunteered to do this with you, not for you, but with you. There's no disappointment. They're simply just learning together. And so, it's been a difficult couple weeks just because my mindset has been fluctuating. Um, not fluctuating about the decisions, but fluctuating about my perception of whether or not I'm capable. So that's how I know amazing things are about to happen, because it's usually only then that I'm able to, when I experience those types of thoughts, uh, it's usually only then where I find my rebelliousness. And that rebelliousness is um, the very thing that causes me to push back, right? Because sometimes we need to push back. So hold on really quick, guys. Ocean Lover is having some technical stuff going on. Um, Uh, let's see. So Universal D says, the first time you met Mike, you became aware of him. Oh, that story. So that was back in like 2010-ish, 2011-ish. So it hasn't really been that long that I've been able to see um Michael in that type of form that he showed me, which is very much in alignment with the religious depiction of him. So this was like in 2010-ish. We owned our own home, and Michael said that I needed to evac. Craziness. So we packed up and we were going to evacuate our home, and then he had me drive around quite a bit. He had me driving through multiple states, and then he it was all fear based because that's where I was at that point, very fear based in my journey. He had me go to excuse me, Nevada. He had me go to Arizona, Utah. There's all kind of places. And then we were going to go into a cave. We were going to go spelunking without knowing how to spelunk. um and then what happened was I was like, no. I'm not going in a subterranean cave. I refuse. I'm not entering into a cave. I refuse, and that's just that. And then so he instructed me to go to Mexico. Yeah, he instructed me to go to Mexico of all places. And so my family and I, we went to Mexico. He had us drive through Mexico, which it was amazing. It was definitely an amazing experience. I love me Mexico. I do. But it was during a time where there was a lot of conflict between, like the familias that were in control of Mexico. And so we didn't know that because that was during a period where you can't take your cellular device abroad. Um, Only when it is uh, within the United States can you use your cellular stuff, right? And so he had us go to Mexico. He had us drive down from Tijuana, and then we ended up being instructed to go to Bahia de Quino, which was amazing. It's like this little coastal town. It's up in the it's protected by that finger, the Baja. It's protected by that. And so we stayed there for a little bit, and then I was told we needed to go. And then we ended up like Los Mochis and, all of these, like, probably shouldn't have been there. If we were hearing the news, that would have been so fearful for us. And long story short, he had us go almost, we were maybe like an hour or so, maybe 2 hours north of the Guatemala border between Guatemala and Mexico. Uh, and y'all, we did not have the funds to be doing all of this, but everything, it's like Michael made everything work out so that we would be okay. And so we ended up going back up, and then he had us kind of just do some R&R over in Teotihuacan, the pyramid of the sun and the moon. And that was nutty. That was a nutty experience. It was amazing, but it was nutty. And then finally, I was just like, I want to go home. I want to go home. Like, please let us go home. And so from there, he was like, you can go home now. And I was like, my God, okay, let's go home. And so the drive home, one of my kids started to enter into heat exhaustion, a state of heat exhaustion. That's very dangerous because you can easily go into heat stroke and then die very quickly. And so we were driving through the Mexican countryside. I'm not sure where we were at that point. We were like halfway to the border. And I don't know, like I had ice packs on my son's armpits, his groins, on his neck. He wasn't cooling down. He stopped sweating, and that's like a huge no-no. And there were no, we had no cellular reception, and there was no GPS at that time. So we couldn't GPS in the nearest hospital, which would probably be hours away anyways. We're literally in the middle of nowhere. And then the sun was starting to set, and I was so afraid. And finally, I was like, I've had it. I've had it. And we had our family friend with us. And what ended up happening, I was like, can we all just kind of pray together? And so we started praying. We're all holding hands. My husband's driving. And we started praying together as a family. And then in the middle of the first prayer, because I was doing a novena, um, which is like a series of prayers that you do as a Catholic. And what ended up happening in the middle of the first Our Father, I was like, hold on, I need to set an intention. And as soon as I did that, something shifted, and everyone in the vehicle with us just like goosebumps, tingles, all of that good stuff. And my friend, she's very developed in her abilities as well. And she's like, did you just feel that? I think you needed to set an intention. And she's like, I think you can keep praying again. And so as we were praying, oh my God, it was the most insane visual I've ever had. This could possibly be the first time that I consciously was pulled out of body and didn't fight it. And so we were praying, and I could hear myself still praying, but I had been pulled out of body, and I was above the vehicle, like floating. Really high, like maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 stories high, because I could see the entire countryside. And I felt something with me. We were like in Superman mode. I don't know. We were like in Superman mode. I distinctly remember that. And I look over, and it's Michael as he is depicted. And I was like, oh my God, you're real. You're not actually a demon, you're real. And he just looks at me like irritated, because he's always irritated with me. Feelings mutual. He's always irritated because I never want to comply. And I just remember like his sword, he had a sword, and then it started to glow. And it was literally like something out of that scene from Lord of the Rings, or whichever one, where they had that huge battle, and all of the Nazgul, where they were like taking all of the soldiers and just tossing them with their dragons. And then out comes Gandalf with his staff, and he just shines his staff, and it blinds everything. And then he's able to protect the soldiers so they can get back into the fortress. It was literally like that, except we hadn't seen that yet. We hadn't seen that movie yet. And so it was like that. His sword glowed, and it created a perimeter, a large perimeter around our vehicle. And I could sense so much dark things moving just outside the perimeter. And I was just like, you keep that light on, okay? And he just looked at me like, obviously irritated with me again. And then I remember getting back in my body. I don't know. Just suddenly was back in my body. And I look over at my son, and he doesn't want to vomit anymore. I was like, do you feel better? He goes, yeah, I feel a lot better. I don't feel sick anymore. And I was like, oh, thank God. And then we drove all the way back to California. Um, it was the first time that I had seen him in a humanoid form. It was always um, just some frequency signature. He never really allowed me to see any other form, because I'm pretty sure he knew that I would freak out, because I probably would. I probably would. I would probably freak out to the utmost degree, and then that would be it. That would be it. So that's definitely how I saw him for the first time. He's been part of my life my entire life. He's been present, and I've just never allowed myself to really see any type of form. No, he didn't look like Gandalf. I'm comparing his light to the light of Gandalf's staff, but he did not look like Gandalf at all. Let me see if I can bring Ocean Lover on now. Give me 1 second, okay, guys? I had asked her to come live with me again so she could ask some questions that maybe would be super duper interesting. Interesado? No, that's the wrong button to push. Definitely the wrong button. But it's been an interesting, very interesting experience. Very interesting experience with him this entire time. He's been present for so much of my life, so much. And the more I allow him to be present, the more present he actually is, the more he guides and protects. There's been so many situations where I've gotten myself into things that, were very questionable, questionable energy, questionable circumstance. And it's been interesting. It's been interesting to say the least. Very interesting, because a lot of what's happened with him has been him pretty much protecting me from my lack of willingness to listen to my intuition. He actually protects me from myself. If we really look at it, he protects me from myself. So let's see. Um, Powerful forces may seem scary, but it's the force, not so much them. Yeah. Okay, Lindsay says, you mentioned that Michael has been with you since childhood. What was your earliest memory of him, if you want to share? Um, so I'm from the Philippines. I'm from the Philippines, and one of my earliest memories of Michael was in the Philippines. Um, I don't know how old I was. I want to say maybe like 2 years old. Um, and it was just this weird, like I thought it was a dream for much of my life. But then when I went back to the Philippines for the first time in 2003, I realized that was a full on memory. So the memory goes like this. We were in my mother's province. We weren't in the main city areas. We were in her province. And there was it's almost like a hut with a dirt floor. And I think that's where my grandparents lived. I'm not sure. But I loved soup as a kid, as a toddler. I love soup. It's a particular soup that's really sour. It's called sinigang. And I love that thing. I will finish the whole pot if you let me. And I remember it was cooking on a fire. Um, it was cooking on a fire inside the hut, and my mom said to leave it alone. She had to go get something really quick. And you know me, y'all know me. Leave it alone. That tells me to go and get some. And so I think I went to go stir it. All I know is the soup spilled all over my chest. I still have like a mark on my body from it. The soup spilled on me and it burned. It gave me like, I don't know, like a second-degree burn. And then with that, um you know, I randomly saw this white man. And then I was like, "Oh my god, am I in trouble?" This was before my mom ran into the hut. And he had his hands behind his back and he was just looking at me like, and I think that was the first time that I saw him. I think that was the first time. So I know you're not coming in here to correct me for the year.
2005.
Act like you know your wife has a shitty memory, sir.
2005.
2000, it's a 2-year difference. He came in here to correct the year. Oh my gosh. I'm not sure if Ocean Lover will be able to come on. Hold on really quick. What the heck happened? Ooh, this is crazy. I sent her a link and it looks like Facebook didn't send it. Let's see. Oh, okay. No, it did send it. Let me check if she was okay. Alrighty. So let's see. That was my earliest memory of him. And the reason I knew that was a memory is because when we went in 2005, I had an out of body experience while awake. And I was like, that this is where it happened. This they tore down that hut and they built this huge house in its place. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting experience for sure. Is he the only archangel that speaks to higher selves? No, he's not. It depends on who you are assigned or who is assigned to you. So I don't have any fans on. He always stands on this side of me. There's no fans on. Oh, I'm lying. There's a fan on up there. He's over here. He doesn't typically make things move. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Oh, shoot. Kimmy over here loves adobo. I'm saying you can't say you love a Filipino until you've had adobo and love it too. I'm not talking about the spice. I'm not talking about the spice at all. I was like, what? Hispanics have adobo? And then they were like, yeah, it's a spice. And I was like, oh, are you kidding me? And then I looked for it at the grocery store and I was like, this is not adobo. This is some other type of adobo. This is not Filipino adobo. It's definitely good. It's so good. I'm just saying. Kitty Claw, how do the angels view sexuality, and do you ever feel uncomfortable about having one around when? Oh, that's a question. Saved by Ocean. Let me see. Okay. Hi. Ooh, you look so good, girl. Okay. Hold on really quick. There you are. Hold on. All right, I'm going to bring you on the screen. Let me just.
Okay. You see too much of background or anything?
No, everything's blurred.
Okay. My son did it for me.
Okay. Here we go. All right. Let's bring you up on screen.
Okay.
Let me take myself off screen. Okay. Hi. So
hello.
Let me not be rude. Kitty Claw just asked a question of how do the angels view sexuality, and do you ever feel uncomfortable about having one around when, I guess, when you're doing the do?
Good question.
Angels are not like humans. They are humanoid form, but they're not like humans. They don't have that human perception. And so they see that as a part of natural, normal human behavior. They don't see it as a pleasure thing. They see it as a procreation thing. So, angels don't care if you're naked. They don't. There's times where Michael will talk to me. I'm in the shower. Soap is in my eyes. He don't care. And he's just kind of like, what are you like? I don't care about any of that. And, you know, they really don't have the same perception we do. They don't even have the same type of emotions that we do. So do you want to ask any questions, Ocean?
Wow, that's a great question. Do I want to ask any questions?
Yeah.
You know, I always have questions. So I would like to ask, for those who may have even missed the first part, can you give us a brief explanation of who Archangel Michael is? Like, as far as just who he is.
So he's the first audible tonation of creation, when that God essence was exploring itself and what it could do through thought, when it began to explore potential forms. Melchizedek, which is the family of Archangel Michael, that was the first audible tonation. Up until that point, that God essence was creating through things that were not taking any type of form. So the first form created was an audible form. And it's from that other things began to be explored. Archangel Michael's purpose is to facilitate the will of creation, nothing else.
Wow.
Archangel Michael is not here as a cord cutter, as someone who will tell you what to do. Archangel Michael is very much about the protection of children. Thankfully, he sees me as an eternal child.
That's precious.
Yeah, no, he does view me as like an eternal child. Sometimes naughty, sometimes well behaved.
Non-compliant.
Yes, that's the word he uses. You're in non-compliance. That's what he tells me.
That's something. Yes, and you actually answered a question that I had also, because I hear a lot of people asking. Now, they're not asking. They're actually saying that Archangel Michael cut cords.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Archangel Michael cut my cord or cut this cord. So can you tell us a little bit more about how that does not work?
So part of the reason I know about cords and cord maintenance is because Michael taught me. I remember reading about that one time years ago about, you know, invoking him to cut the cords. And so I was like, Mikey, can you cut it? And he goes, I'm not your assistant.
Okay.
He's like, do it yourself. And I was like, but you're supposed to do this. And he's like, no, I'm not. And he doesn't interfere in your journey. Okay. That's a major component of how to tell if it's Archangel Michael or not. Is the being that's presenting itself as Michael attempting to tell you what to do? Is it doing things for you? Archangel Michael will not do that. He is very much bound to the laws of sovereignty. And as long as you are bound to the laws of sovereignty, you cannot take the free will of another person. So he's
thank you for addressing that.
Yeah, no, he's very, very bound to that. I think a lot of what people think about Archangel Michael is taught to them from that parasitic mimic. There's a being that mimics Archangel Michael. And when he mimics Michael, he's really, really good at it, like really, really good at it. And what ends up happening is he tells people what to do. He instructs them to do things that are either hurtful and harmful to themselves or hurtful and harmful to other people. Yeah. Wow. He gives you a false sense of security. He makes you think that he's doing all of these things for you. Archangel Michael, the one that I know, he will let you fall flat on your face. He'll extend a hand out and be like, do you need help up? You know, if you're going to be a brat about it, he'd be like, then stay down. Get up yourself. You know, he's very like militant, but not militant in a mean way. He doesn't lack compassion. It's more of, he's very much about you learning on your own terms. And sometimes the cords that people insert will help you to learn on your terms in the way that you can best learn the things that you need to learn. So no, he does not cut cords. ever.
Thank you for answering that. Yes, because I think that is a really big thing amongst spiritual circles and people who talk about Archangel Michael, who talk about cord cutting. I would like to ask you this. This is a little bit off the beaten path. Does Michael have a sense of humor?
He goes, don't
I have
laugh.
a follow-up question for that.
He says, don't laugh.
Okay.
He does not,
Mhm.
but he's not incapable of laughter. But
Okay.
he does not joke around.
Mhm, mhm,
No, not really.
mhm.
The only time he's ever really joked around with me is when say someone says something that makes, it puts me back in my place. Like I get, oh, okay, I was a little too naughty there. And then he'll kind of like chuckle a little bit. But
Okay.
aside from that, he doesn't really joke around. He doesn't find any of my jokes funny. He typically does not find my antics funny. He's just,
Mhm.
he's like my yaya, like my
Mhm.
nanny. And
Mhm.
typically nannies bond with their with the kids they take care of. I mean, he's bonded
Mhm.
with me, but he's also like, just, oh gosh, why can't you just behave? Why can't you just comply? And it's not him
Wow.
telling me what to do.
Mhm.
It's my higher self instructing him to deliver instructions to me. And that's what
Mhm.
frustrates him, because he doesn't like to fail. He doesn't like
Okay.
to not complete the task he's been tasked to
Mm.
do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. So you all have been, well, you have been a very long journey with Michael.
Yes.
And I would like to ask, and I know that had to have taken just some moments of, okay, I need to know that you are really who you say you are. I do recall that you mentioned this in some live streams before, but can you tell us a little bit more about how you really just became sure that, okay, I get it now, and this is where I'm going to go from here?
So, in regards to my relationship with Michael, several, maybe a week or so, maybe 2 weeks after that experience, maybe even less than that, to be honest, after my experience where I saw him for the first time, we had an emergency cache of supplies near Tijuana.
Mm.
We had it in like San Diego area. And I decided we're no longer going to be leaving the country. And
Mhm.
so I, told my husband, we should just get our supplies, like our tents, camping stuff, from that storage unit over in San Diego. And because I had left so abruptly and my mother was so afraid that I would do that again,
Mm.
she was like, she wants to come with us. I'm like, that's fine. So we all went in our, I think it's like an 86 Suburban, and we drove all the way back down to the San Diego area. We rented a U-Haul trailer, one of their bigger ones, and we loaded all of our supplies in there, and then we started to make it back home. At one point, we were driving through a neighborhood that's kind of like on a hill, a very high hill. And it's just a 2-lane road. We were still in SoCal. It's just a 2-lane road, and there's a hairpin turn. And as soon as you get through that hairpin turn, there's a stoplight. And so you can't really see if cars are stopped or what,
Mm.
So it's just a blind turn. And well, let me rewind this. On the way to the storage unit, we were going through the Grapevine right before it. I was sleeping. I had fallen asleep, and I woke up halfway, and I was telling my husband, they're going to try and pop the wheels so that we'll flip over. And he's like, what are you
Mm.
talking about? And I was like, just don't hit the curb. Stay away from the curb. We'll be fine. Don't hit the curb. And then they're like, okay, you're dreaming. And so I went back to sleep. And so as we're leaving SoCal, that whole scenario that I told you with the 2-lane road, we get past that hairpin turn, and it's like a 40-mile-per-hour speed limit. But for some reason, the person in front didn't go at a green light. And so my husband had to slam on the brakes, which caused the overloaded trailer to begin fishtailing. And because it began fishtailing, he was trying to get control of it, and it was dragging us to the sidewalk.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. And if he goes too far to the left, the driver's side, that's oncoming traffic. And if we hit oncoming traffic, they're going to hit the barrier little wall thingy, and they're going to go over the side of it's like mountainous. And he was trying to get in control. Everyone's starting to freak out. And I'm like, no, we're fine. Just pull away from the curb slowly. And I kid you not, because everyone saw that, everyone went around us and they were gone. They're just, everyone was gone. And it was just really us on the road. And it felt like all four corners of the vehicle and the trailer were picked up and then gently placed back in the middle of the road. And I was like, we're fine. And then no one was scared. And I was like, oh, he really got us. He really got us. Okay.
Yes,
Okay. He's not joking. He really got us.
Wow.
And after that, it was a very interesting journey after that. Because then that's when I really allowed myself to begin recognizing, accepting, and embracing that connection with Michael. The funny thing is my mom was in the car with us and she was aware. Probably a couple hours before that happened, we did drive her to Tijuana to get a 3 foot tall, a 3 feet tall statue of Mary.
Wow.
And so Mary, this 3 foot tall statue, was riding shotgun with her in the front seat. And she was convinced that it was because Mama Mary was in the car and she protected us, because even she felt the vehicle was lifted and gently placed back down. So it was definitely interesting, but that helped to solidify. We are very divinely protected. And she was even like, oh, see, God loves you even though you're like this. And moms.
Wow. Yeah.
That's how moms are.
Yes. Yes. Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with me. And unfortunately, I can't view any comments in the chat right now, fam. So if there are any particular questions that you have, Emmie, if you could read them and we can try to get to some of those questions.
Yes. So Kitty Claw says, can the angels be at many different places at the same time? Absolutely. Angels are highly advanced, and so they can fractionate their consciousness and be in an unlimited number of spaces and times and matrices at the same time, simultaneously. They are multi-dimensional and they can occupy the multiverse, basically. There's no limits as to what they can do, as long as it's in alignment with the purpose they were created for. Oh wait, hold on. Alathayan says, the fact that he gets annoyed with Emmie as much, I'm curious by how deep they go. Do you guys really want to know? You guys want to know? Yeah.
Hashtag we want to go deep. Hashtag deep dive.
So he has been present through literally all of my lifetimes, and I've lived quite a few. So he's just, he always has to keep me out of trouble because I'm always getting myself into situations. And so, yeah, it goes pretty deep. It goes pretty deep. There's no limits as to how intense our connection is or can become. It's just a very, very deep connection that we have. And he seems to have known me through all my lives. He knows all the details, but he doesn't tell me anything that would not be appropriate for my level of maturity. So, yeah. I remember there was this one time, maybe my husband will get in the comments and talk about it. So there was this one time we were having just tremendous life struggles, right? It was just a very difficult period. And it was a period of extreme growth. And I did not want to comply. And that was when I had my first, that I can remember, near death experience.
Mm.
So he actually let me die.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I've never felt that type of pain in my chest before. And I could feel that my heart was not beating properly. And then everything sounded very echoey, like I was in a long tunnel. Um, my eyes were closed. And so, because I was just like, just take me. You just go ahead, just take me. I don't care at this point. And I could hear my husband, but it sounded like he was in a long tunnel far away. And then I guess, from, if I remember right, what he said that suddenly I started talking to him, and I was like, I said, I identified myself as Michael, and then he was just like, she's non-compliant. You're no longer responsible. She's non-compliant.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. He was just like, send her back. Send her. Yeah. And then he was just like, no, don't send her back. You put her back in her body. You know, it was, I don't remember too much about that anymore, but it was definitely like, whoa. And then he told my husband about certain things that I had been tracking, with like planetary positioning, lunar stuff, celestial things. And then he explained to my husband why I had been tracking it, because I didn't know why.
Mm.
And I mean, being shoved back in body like that was quite possibly the most, painful experience I've ever had.
Oh, imagine. Wow.
Yeah, no, it felt like, almost like, and I don't know how I would know being skinned alive feels like, but it felt like being skinned alive
Oh,
and having each of your muscle fibers removed
wow.
and then put back,
Oh,
like all the layers.
oh.
So I learned to not push it too far.
Yes.
I learned real good that time, like, okay, I can be defined, but only to a certain degree, because
Right.
that would hurt a little too much. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's something.
Here's a really good question. Sky Saunders asks, is there a way to know who was assigned to us? It really can be told by who you're drawn to, what type of things you're drawn to, and seeing what type of things each angelic being is assigned to govern, assigned to kind of keep track of, and all of that. So that's a good way to find out. For some of us, as much as we'd like to have Michael be the one we're assigned to, we just not. He's not. He's not assigned to everyone, is the thing. So we have to be mindful of that. I'm going to show you guys. This is going to be a very interesting thing. I'm going to put an image on the screen. Oh, I can't. I can't put it on the screen. Maybe I can figure out a way to do that. Because I can only share one screen at a time. I might need to pause you and I, Ocean Lover, so that I can put this on the screen. Let me just find it really quick. There's a way for you guys to kind of get a good idea, just an idea. And then obviously you're going to have to go back and see which one you're drawn to. See the meaning of the one that you're drawn to. So these are sigils. There's different types of sigils. The one that I'm showing you is kind of like a shorthand for their name. There's a more complex one as well, which is like their personal signature. Well, I don't want to show you, sir. Like this. Okay, so all right. Let me get back on screen. Ocean Lover, I'm going to take you off screen really quick, and then I'll bring you back on after.
All right.
All right, guys. So if we take a look at, where did I put it? Here, let me get it on the screen really quick. And this will give you guys a decent, oops, that's not it. Oh, I did not save it properly. Okay, let me find a different one. I'm sorry, guys. Here, let's do this. Let's make sure it's an image. Oh, it's another web page. Let's open in a new tab. Sorry, I wish I had thought to have these images ready for you guys. Oh my goodness. Let me just screenshot this. Goodness gracious. Okay. Let me. So, and you can find these type of items online. I don't carry them. I don't know. I just don't carry them. But you can definitely find it online if you would like to find something like this online. So let me go. Why did it do that? I'm sorry, guys. I'm having technical problems. Okay, here we go. Let me share this on the screen. All right. If you look at this, can you guys see it on the screen? Or hold on. Goodness gracious. Let me not then. Let me stop sharing. Oh my God. Oh, there it is. Oh, darn yeah. Okay, here it is. So if you look at this, this is like a personal signature of the Archangel. And this is their sigil. So if you want to know which of the 4 primary you are assigned to, which one of the 4 are you drawn to? You know? So you go ahead and you look at which one of these, the gold symbols, you're drawn to. Is it this one, this one, this one, or this one? So we'll do 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So go ahead and pick. And if you've gotten a chance to pick, oops, how would I? Yikes. And now if you look, that's what those mean. Let me, hold on. If you were drawn to 1, that would be Archangel Michael, element of fire, chief of the archangels, angel of justice, strength, and protection. If you're drawn to 2, that would be Gabriel, guardian of the west, element of the water, patron of messengers, angel of resurrection, mercy, and peace. If you were drawn to 3, that would be Raphael, guardian of the east, and element of the air, keeper of the tree of life and healing powers, angel of love, joy, and laughter. See, the funny thing is people try and channel messages from Archangel Michael, yet it's Gabriel who is the messenger. And then they try and say that, oh, Archangel Michael will heal it, but Raphael is the healer, you know? So Uriel is the last one, guardian of the north and element of the earth, keeper of prophecy, angel of nature, visions, and instruction. So all of them, for me personally, they play a part, but Michael is the only one that I speak to because all of them, well, Raphael and Michael are actually BFFs. And so Michael would not allow me to be, combative with Raphael. But the other 2, I'd be like, who invited you here? And that would be not so good. So Michael, he doesn't allow me to interact with them unless I'm on best behavior. If I'm attitudey, he's just like, no, this is what you're told. That's why he's the one that gives me the messages, because he can handle my attitude. So depending on which one you're drawn to, that can help to indicate which of the 4 directional archangels is kind of in charge of you. Okay. And you can find a lot of this information online. It doesn't take much to find it. You can have more than one. You can have more than one assigned to you. That's definitely a possibility. Let me put you back on the screen. There we go. Oh, let me take my second image. So let's see. Is it possible to be drawn to two of them? Absolutely. You can be drawn to all three. I mean, all four. Or there's actually more than just four archangels. There's quite a few. And then archangels are not the end all be all. A lot of what we're taught about angelic beings is kind of erroneous. For example, the cherubim, they are not they're not baby-like beings. They're actually very fierce. They're very capable of defense and war. They answered Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael, he has no authority over the seraphim. The seraphim flank the throne room of God. And then there's the Oraphim, who they're kind of just, it's on a whole nother level. They're not even really talked about at all. So there's different angels, orders of angels, and things like that. It's a very fascinating topic. Be careful of where you get your information as you go deeper into the subject matter, simply because there is just far too many questionable things that are released out there. Far too many. Far too many. Do you have any other questions for me? Ocean Lover? Oh, wait. Oh, you're frozen. Oh, no. Oh, no. Ocean Lover's frozen. So what I'm going to do, thank you so much for coming on the screen, Ocean Lover. I'm going to go ahead and just take you off. Oh, she's already off. Here we are. All right. Let me end that. Thank you, Ocean Lover, for coming on. I really deeply appreciate it. Okay. Firefly asked, do most people have an archangel assigned to them? Yes, most people do. It's not uncommon. It's a very, very common thing. Let's see. Ooh, see, so for some of you, for quite a few of you actually, you're drawn to two of them. And I wonder if you're drawn to two of them because of the different lessons that you're encountering in this life. I just ripped my eyelash off. Instead of fixing it, I ripped it off. Oh my goodness. That's okay though. We'll fix it later. Oh my God. Actually, we need to fix it now because now it's poking me. Anywho, yeah. It's a very, very fascinating subject. And for a lot of us, we'll be drawn to this topic when we're ready to understand in a much deeper way the things we need to understand that involve the angelic realm. All of us are hybridized with angelic code. The only ones who are not hybridized with angelic code are organic portals, which, I mean, we can talk about that at some point. We can definitely have a conversation about organic portals sometime in the near future. We can do a show just about organic portals and go deep into that. But pretty much any human being that is not categorically an organic portal, you have angelic code that has been hybridized. And that's what makes you capable of ascension mechanics. That's what makes you capable of reaching higher levels of dimensional awareness. Okay. So I'm going to be getting going now. If you're not yet part of the Soul Sanctuary, I definitely encourage you to join. Excuse me. I encourage you to join the Soul Sanctuary because that's where we go to do all of our readings and stuff. Well, not readings, but conversations. That's where we have our private conversations. There is still time to join. We're going to be getting together in about 30 minutes to give me time to figure out my eyelash because I ripped it off. So go to soulsanctuary.love and you can sign up over there. If you are already signed up, you can definitely join me at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll meet you guys there and we will have, as usual, an in-depth discussion. If you do decide to join before our conversation starts, beautiful. You should receive immediate access to the area based on the level of recurring contribution that you select for yourself. This is not a membership. This is a recurring contribution, and all the funds that are raised from the soulsanctuary.love that goes towards Soulwork Synergistics, which is my church. That is our beautiful, beautiful space, and all of the funds go there. Because it's a nonprofit in the United States, it is a tax deduction. So you can go ahead and get a tax deduction. Just save the receipt when you file for your taxes. Claim it on your taxes. It's recognized as a legitimate tax deduction. So I will see you guys at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time over at the soulsanctuary.love. For all of my members, I'm very, very excited to talk about Michael with you guys. Yes, Ocean Lover. There are so many great workshop events coming up. Because of a few things that happened recently, I do need to push back. I believe it is the comfort care meditation where we address any type of chronic pain that you might be experiencing, physical chronic pain. So that's going to have to be pushed back. I think, honestly, all of my stuff is going to have to be pushed back a little bit simply because I have some pretty pronounced things that I'm needing to take care of pretty urgently for my personal stuff. So all of the information for projects, for events, classes, opportunities, you can find it at the soulworksynergistics.com/projects. That's the link that's been scrolling at the bottom of the screen this whole time. soulworksynergistics.com/projects. I'll see you guys all very, very soon. Bye, everyone.